I'm about to say. I mean, no disrespect, because I got nothing but love for every single player in the NFL. The New York Jets, the owner has to sell the team, the head coach. I don't know how you sit. I would love for somebody to explain to me. It's getting to a point where it's just comedy. How can you sit and explain Adam Gase still having employment with the New York Jets? I would challenge anybody watching this to explain that, okay? The players, again, no disrespect, need to take off their jerseys, put them in the Nike duffel bags, leave the stadium, and that's it. Just leave. Don't come back. Don't come back. And I know this is a big statement. I honest to God sit and believe that the New York Jets will not win a single game this year. That's a huge statement. This team is abysmal. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. They got rid of the running back before the coach. NFL Week 6 review, we talk about anything and everything, and you go nowhere else because I said so. And just like that, we're almost halfway through the NFL season. Some teams still haven't lost. Mine is one of them. And you know what? Whether it's ugly, pretty, or everything in between, I will take 5-0 any day of the week and twice on Sundays. Twice on Sundays. There are some teams, New York, that haven't won. The Giants are 1-5. They have won their first game yesterday, which I saw coming. I don't know why everybody's celebrating. And then you look at MetLife Stadium again, and you change the colors to green, and you realize that, well, a lot of things are just the same in New York. Or should I say East Rutherford, because MetLife Stadium is actually not even in New York City. We're going to talk about all the games here, NFL Week 6. For some reason, a lot of you don't watch this, and I'm sorry that you feel that I am not as valuable to you and throughout your day to take 15 minutes out of your day to support this. Not only this, but get a laugh out of the day. How you doing? We're going to kick it off with the Titans and Texans. Now, obviously, everybody knows I was not able to watch this game yesterday. I had a passing in the family, and I was attending the wake. I was able to catch the tail end of it. And from what it looked like, the Titans were in control mostly during this game, okay? I expected us to not... I didn't think we were going to be as close with Houston as it actually ended up being. There was no Thursday Night Football, by the way. It was all Sunday, and there's 2 games tonight. Kansas City and Buffalo tonight in your first frame, 5 p.m., and then the original 8 o'clock frame is Dallas and Arizona. I didn't expect the Texans to play as good as they did against us. Now, again, it's a divisional game. One of the things that I don't like from the Titans, even though there's a lot of things I do, one of the things I don't like is their defense, particularly their secondary and certain things. I think that their defense needs to start playing a little bit better. We're scoring a lot, but we're giving up a lot of points. 30 to Jacksonville, 36 to Houston, okay? 30 to 31, I think it was, to Minnesota. Okay, we got to start playing. If we can play better defense, we could be one of the best teams. I mean, I already think we're one of the best teams in the league, but if we could play good defense like we did last year, we're going to be a very hard team for anybody to beat. And I'm talking Kansas City, anything. But that's what we need to focus on. So we play Houston. Deshaun Watson had 335 yards and 4 touchdowns, a great game for him. David Johnson had 57 yards rushing and a touchdown. Will Fuller, also a good receiver for Houston, had 6 receptions, 123 yards and a touchdown. Tannehill had a phenomenal game, and for those of you that keep crapping on him, keep doing so, because it's just going to get better on from here on out. 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry is unbelievable. I knew that, he's had some good games this year, but I think he was due for a monstrous game. I didn't know that it was going to come against Houston. 212 yards and 2 touchdowns. What can you say? And Anthony Fercher, who's been playing some tight end duty with Jonnu Smith having a bit of an injury. He's been a silently good player for the Titans. 8 receptions, 113 yards and a touchdown. The Titans were down in this game. I want to say it was 36 to 29. They ended up scoring a touchdown on their final possession. Now, a lot of people thought maybe Vrabel would go for 2. In the back of my gut, I honestly kind of wanted Vrabel to go for 2. I thought that if Vrabel had gone for 2, I think we would have got it. Because the way the Titans are, I just think that we click at the right times, and I love it. But he played it safe, went for the extra point, got it, went to overtime. I did not see any of overtime. From what I believe the Titans had the ball in overtime. They got it, and they went right down and scored a touchdown, and that was history. 42 to 36, the Titans beat the Texans. We are now 5-0 on the season. We will now have our biggest test of the year against a very good, very, very good defense in Pittsburgh, who is also undefeated. Next week, we are going to stay right put, and we're going to welcome the Pittsburgh Steelers in what should be a colossal showdown between two very, very good teams. A little bit nervous about that one, but we're going to be put to the test next week big time. Giants and football team. Giants and Washington football team. Two teams that have absolutely nothing going for them. The football team may be a team that's good in a couple of years, but they're a little bit of a ways away from that. Dwayne Haskins is not playing. Why? Because he's just not good. Dwayne Haskins isn't playing. Kyle Allen started. He had 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones did pretty much nothing in this game. 112 yards. Actually, no, I lied. 112 yards, a touchdown, and an interception, but he also ran for 74. I believe he had a nice 49-yard run in this game. The Giants hung on, and they were able to beat Washington 20-19. A close game. The Giants get their first win. So despite still being terrible, they can breathe because we know that they are not the worst team in New York City. Not only that, the Washington, well, first off, the NFC East is absolutely garbage. I picked Philly before the year ended. Philly's not clicking the way they should be. But, and I got to give Philly some credit. They're playing a lot. They're playing a tough schedule, okay? The Giants, Washington, they haven't played. Philly has a really rough schedule, particularly in the first half of the season. And I know that they haven't been playing. Wentz hasn't really been on that monstrous role. They've been running the ball. Their defense has been questionable. The Eagles are, a lot of people are saying a lot of negative things about the Eagles, and rightfully so, but I got to give them some type of slack with this type of schedule. Right now, the division is up in the air, and I think that regardless of what anybody says, it's Dallas or Philly. Washington gives me absolutely nothing. The Giants, I will never trust in my life. And I think, honestly, I'm leaning towards Dallas, because I think even with Dalton, they'll find a way to make it happen. The loss of Dak Prescott definitely is a shot in the heart for the Dallas Cowboys, but I think that if they get if Dalton can just play somewhat decent, they'll be all right. But the Dolphins came to MetLife Stadium yesterday to play the Jets. And like I said in the intro, the Jets' best interest at this point in time would just be to switch their logo, switch their name, sell the rights to the stadium to 100% to the Giants. The Jets are absolutely terrible. They're not good. They're having a rough start. They just suck. They're terrible. Okay, for some reason, Adam Gase still has a job. Okay, somebody will have to explain that one to me because I can't. You won't see me sitting here defending Adam Gase. He is probably the worst coach in the NFL. Le'Veon Bell was traded. The fact that he didn't put up numbers was not his fault. The team has no offensive line. Darnold has no type of protection. Okay? The defense is just not playing. It's just, they're awful. They are absolutely terrible. The Jets, honest to God, I think the Jets are the worst team in the league. Because who's worse? Atlanta got their first win. Atlanta on offense is Atlanta's a much better team than the Jets, despite 0-5. Okay, Miami's a better team than the Jets. Let's see who else. The Giants are better than the Jets. Washington's better than the Jets. The Jets are terrible. Flacco, 186 yards and interception. Fitzpatrick, 191 yards, 3 touchdowns. Let me flip this here. Gaskins had 91 yards also for the Dolphins. 24-zip. The Jets could not get a single point off of the Miami Dolphins. Have a nice day. Adam Gase took a sigh of relief this morning because he still had his job. I don't know why, but he still had his job somehow, some way. The Dolphins run through and continue to show you that maybe they aren't great, but they're a lot better than we thought they were. Jets are winless. Expected to remain that way for quite a while. Cincinnati and Indianapolis. A nice little battle up in the Midwest there. Cincinnati may be sporting a 1-4 record, and I expected Cincinnati to not have too great of a season. They may be sporting a 1-4 record, but can I say that I think Joe Burrow's doing kind of all right. 313 yards and an interception. Higgins was the top receiver for Cincinnati, 6 receptions, 125 yards. Have a day for Phillip Rivers, 371 yards and 3 touchdowns, also with an interception. And Johnson caught well, 5 receptions, 108 yards. When it was all said and done, Cincinnati did win. I think that was a typo. Indianapolis won yesterday, correct? Yeah, I think I wrote that wrong. I'm pretty sure the Colts won 31-27. I know that was the score. Cincinnati's going to have growing pains. They have a lot around Joe Burrow that they need to build. Joe Burrow himself has been doing pretty decent. Again, you expect rookie mistakes from a young quarterback. But from what I can say, I can't complain too much about Joe Burrow in terms of what he's bringing. But Cincinnati's 1-4. The Colts continue to play pretty good football. I don't think that, as a Titans fan, I don't really think there's anybody in that division outside the Colts that are going to challenge us for that division. I think that we are the best team in that division, but I think the Colts are a team that we're going to have to wait to see what happens when we play them, because the Colts always play us really well and they have our number. But the Colts get the win 31-27. How about the Falcons getting their first win of the year? 40-23, the Falcons. Falcons played some defense yesterday. It was nice to see that. Never had a problem putting up points, but always had a problem stopping other teams from doing so. Matt Ryan had 371 yards and 4 touchdowns. Julio Jones, the monster he is, 8 receptions, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins had himself another game of unanswered questions. 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Justin Jefferson continues to be one of the best rookie wideouts in the league with 9 receptions, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Atlanta wins 40-23. Their first game, I believe, since the firing of Dan Quinn, so very good for them. Atlanta was weird because last year they started off so terrible, and the second half of the season they caught fire. They caught fire. And does that happen this year? I don't know. I think the team needs to really get their defense together, because I tell you what, if the Falcons can give Matt Ryan protection and build this defense, there's no reason why they can't challenge for a playoff spot. But until that is done, we're going to learn a lot, and we're going to see what happens with Dan Quinn gone now. They definitely need to get rid of him. A team that actually disappointed the hell out of me yesterday was New England. Denver went to New England to take on New England, and the final score was 18-12. Now, I figured that Denver doesn't score points like that, but New England, I expected a bit more from them. Drew Lock had 189 yards and 2 interceptions, 101 on the ground for Lindsey, and 101 in the air for Patrick. Cam Newton had 157 yards but 2 interceptions, but he also rushed for 76 yards and a touchdown on the ground. But the Broncos beat the Patriots yesterday. We talk about a bit of a head-scratcher. Every team's going to have an off game, and we'll look at it from that standpoint for New England. I think Cam Newton coming to New England is great. I still think the team will find a way into the playoffs, but the way the AFC looks right now, there's a lot of good teams in the AFC, and it's gonna be a battle. This football season feels even more intense than what last year was. But New England had an off game. They only put up 12 points against Denver. Denver's missing a bunch of key players, or at least I think on defense. I'll have to ask my friend about that. Denver's missing key players, okay? Good win for Denver. New England, hopefully it's just an unfortunate Sunday. Talk about a team that almost lost to the Eagles, the Ravens. Now, despite being 5-1 and what I've seen from the Ravens, I still don't trust them in the playoffs. And I think the Ravens will win the... Well, actually, I don't know about that. Because to be honest with you right now, I really like Pittsburgh. I like what I see from Pittsburgh. I'd like to see a little bit more maybe from Ben Roethlisberger, and I know that sounds kind of crazy. But I really like what I see from Pittsburgh. So I'm not going to sit here, and Baltimore is clearly the better team, but are they really? They're better on the offensive side of the ball, and their defense is good. But Pittsburgh's defense is so strong, I really got to scratch my head sometimes. Baltimore almost lost to the Eagles, but they didn't. Lamar Jackson had 186 yards and a touchdown. He rushed for 108 yards as well and a touchdown. Modern-day Michael Vick, what can I say? Wentz had 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sanders ran well, 118 yards. Baltimore was able to get the win 30-28. The Eagles continue to look like they are just missing. They don't look absolutely terrible, and a lot of people say that. Maybe I'm saying that because I don't physically watch the games. But right now, the Ravens are 5-1. Okay, that's great. The Eagles are, what are they, 1-4-1? They're, it's just, they don't look good. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? But despite all that, we got a couple more games to go over here before we punch on out of here. Forgot to add 101 yards and a touchdown on the ground for Connor in the Pittsburgh's. No, I didn't even talk about Pittsburgh. I am an absolute criminal. Let's talk about Pittsburgh. We're going to jump right into them. They played Cleveland. Now, Cleveland's looked a little bit better this year, not because of Baker Mayfield, but the team has looked better. But they also never looked worse on Sunday. Was it 28-7? 38-7, I believe. Pittsburgh handled business against Cleveland. And they showed Cleveland that despite their record, Cleveland does not belong in the AFC North battle, and they sat them right down. They said, it's us in Baltimore, and everybody else, you're just a witness. Pittsburgh annihilates Cleveland. Mayfield, awful game, 119 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Ben, 162 yards and a touchdown. Connor, 101 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Very good. Pittsburgh looks better than they ever have. They're undefeated, and they will travel to Nashville to take on us. 2 hot teams. Somebody has got to lose. Pittsburgh gets the win and stays undefeated, and from what I'm told, leads the AFC North. How about that? Chicago and Carolina. In Carolina, it didn't matter where it was. Now, can we stop sucking the Chicago genitals, please? Because Foles, everybody's sitting here saying things about Chicago. It has not their good level of play. I don't think it has to do with the quarterback. Their defense is playing great. What did they? They shut down Tampa Bay last week. They shut down Carolina. And then I looked yesterday and I said, holy shit, Chicago's 5-1. Where did that come from? Foles had 198 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. It didn't come from that. Bridgewater didn't have a good game, 216 yards and 2 interceptions. DJ Moore caught well for Carolina, 5 receptions, 93 yards. Chicago gets the win, 23-16. Their defense continues to play great. Whatever's going on for Chicago right now is good because this team's defense is playing good football. Now, their offense, I still am not sold on Nick Foles as a long-term answer for Chicago at quarterback, and I'm not certainly not sold on Trubisky. But what I'm saying is, Chicago's not going to win the division, okay? 5-1's great, but Green Bay is winning this division. Let's get that straight. But yeah, good for Chicago. Detroit and Jacksonville, what an awful game. Just listen to the sound of that, Lions and Jaguars. Matthew Stafford had 223 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. DeAndre Swift had a good day, 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ken Golladay, again, 4 receptions, 105 yards. Minshew had 243 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. And Cole Sr. caught well for Jacksonville, 6 receptions, 143 yards. Detroit dominates Jacksonville. And I continue to tell everybody that Jacksonville is not what you think. They have flashy players. They're capable of a big game. But never in a million years would I trust the Jaguars. They get ripped by the Lions, 34-16. Jacksonville's not good, okay? I'm tired of hearing everything about Gardner Minshew, okay? He's all right. He's better than I gave him credit for, but you just played Detroit and you got bodied. What does that say? What does that say? Speaking of bodies, the Brady versus Rogers Showdown was supposed to be a little bit better than it was, but unfortunately it was not. Mr. Aaron Rodgers was not discount double-checking yesterday. He was double thinking about what he did because the Packers got annihilated by Tampa Bay. And again, keep sucking that Tampa Bay genital. It's not because of Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's not doing awful either. Aaron Rodgers had 160 yards. Brady had 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. Great game for Ronald Jones running the ball. 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. And again, Gronk had a nice game. 5 receptions, 78 yards and a touchdown. But Tampa Bay ripped right through Green Bay, 38-10. It's an off game for Green Bay. Stop sleeping on Green Bay. They're still better than most of you that have a football team. Tampa Bay, good. They're 4-2. I need a really big game from Tom Brady. That's what I need. He's not making terrible mistakes and decisions, but I want a big game from Tom Brady. Sunday night football. San Francisco and LA. NFC West showdown. The Rams, well, I could tell you this. The 49ers are pretty happy Jimmy G's back. I could tell you that because without him, man, were they sorry. Jared Goff had 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Henderson ran well. Again, Henderson's been running the ball good for LA. 88 yards. Jimmy G, great game, 268 yards and 3 touchdowns. And another good game for Kittle. 7 receptions, 109 yards, and a touchdown. San Francisco handled business against LA, 24-9. LA Rams, again, good team. Not a team I put trust in. San Francisco's the same way. Jimmy G will have a great showing, and then he'll crap himself the next week. That's all there is for that. There are 2 games on tonight because of scheduling issues. The first game is Kansas City against Buffalo. Buffalo will look to rebound after that slaughter that we gave them last week. How you doing? Kansas City, again, is coming off of a loss as well. I think both teams really need a big game, and they match up well. And then the primetime game is Detroit, or excuse me, Dallas and Arizona. Dallas is going to be playing Dalton full time. Arizona is as well. You got some stars there. They should be good games. I appreciate everybody for watching. As always, stay safe.